Why? It was mine.
Know this. The heart that is strong and true shall win the Keyblade.
What? You're saying my heart's weaker than his?
For that instant it was. However, you can become stronger. You showed no fear in stepping through the door to darkness. It held no terror for you. Plunge deeper into the darkness, and your heart will grow even stronger.
What should I do?
It's really quite simple. Open yourself to the darkness. That is all. Let your heart, your being, become darkness itself.
And so the mysterious presence that once lain dormant on Destiny Islands has made his return. Who that is? Well, we'll just have to find out, but let's just say he used to be a resident around these here parts. But again, Riku's Fall to Darkness again, I will say that like a lot of the earlier segments of him having a very sort of juvenile, like, Sora's better than me and I don't like it. Like again, in a way, I do think it is kind of foolish for him to team up with Maleficent, even though he was mainly doing it for Kairi's sake and his own reasons more than anything else, but again, I do kind of like the way that Riku's Fall to Darkness was handled in this game, because again, it's done in more of a sliding scale. Like, I mean, initially he was doing it for at least semi-noble reasons. Like, I mean, he wanted to use the power of darkness to escape the island, mainly because he was tempted by that very same figure out of jealousy for Sora and Kairi wanting to leave him behind, as he overheard on Destiny Islands. But by that same token, like, I mean, it just, again, progressively became a downward spiral, because again, he did become jealous of Sora. And again, as a brief line in Kingdom Hearts 2 will understand when they meet again, yeah, Sora felt the exact same way about Riku, so I don't know, I just really like Riku's Fall to Darkness. Like, I mean, if I could describe it in any way, shape, or form, it's kind of like a weird mixture between, like, you know, the whole Japanese anime kind of rival sort of thing, intertwined with, like, a bit of a Disney-esque kind of twist on that thing, really. It's like, oh no, the best friend must fight, but oh no, I realized I was wrong. I will fight on your side. Because that is how we do the good storytelling, with the redemption and the best friendship winning over the evil. Kind of thing. I don't know, the point is, I do really enjoy that, and to talk about Riku a little bit more, like the spunk-guzzling fangirl that I am, yeah, in terms of his boss fight, like, I mean, I probably should have brought this up a little bit more, either later on when we face him again, or when we encountered him before. But again, I really do like the way his boss fight also progresses with his battles with Sora. Like, I mean, on Destiny Islands, it starts off very simple and easy, and then it just sort of scales up from there. I guess to use a bit of an overused example, has a bit of that Virgil effect from Devil May Cry, in the sense that his power scales with you. Like that line Agent Smith said in the Matrix Path of Neo, his power grows as well. Yes, indeed, he will do some dancing, he will do some leveling up and dining in the hell, and everything else. By the way, I believe I also mentioned in the previous two parts about how, the heavy dogs, the heavies, I can't quite remember what the fuck they're called, the ones with the big fuck-off shields. Again, I mentioned before that you can basically have their drop rate to, you know, collect one of their shields to give to Goofy. In fact, I believe I might show it off at one point. And if I don't, then, well, fuck it. But again, a similar thing also happens with the wizard enemies that can actually... Again, the drop rate is extremely fucking rare. Like, I think, like, 0.1%, if I remember right from reading it online somewhere. But yeah, you can actually get one of the wizard creatures to drop a stave, which you can give to Donald. And speaking of these wizard enemies, they are actually a bit of a pain in the butt. Because they teleport everywhere, your magic will heal them if you happen to use it on them, so you can only do physical attacks, which wouldn't be so bad if they didn't fucking teleport around the place. And, well, it sucks. But again, we are making decent use out of the Tinkerbell summon, so yeah. And another thing I forgot to point out beforehand is that, unlike any other summon in the game, yeah, you actually have Donald and Goofy still with you, so again, I don't know if she heals them as well, I think she does, but, yeah. Very useful summon to have, especially if the auto-life ability counts for anything. Whatevers. But again, this is pretty much your easy way to access the dungeons without having to go through all that, you know, fuck around malarkey that you went through with Beast, so yeah, just use this to get back to where you need to go, and you should be cool, dude. But yeah, apart from that, we are reaching the final segment of the Holy Bastion sparse gameplay shit. Ascending the tower. Get comfy, kids, because you're pretty much going through a complete bloody menagerie of Heartless, and it's, well, I mean, I will give it this. It does have a lot of scale, and it does have a lot of cool artistry on display in terms of what you can see on the exterior of the castle, and the way in which Holy Bastion as a castle really sort of promotes. Like, again, it has this nice mixture between fantasy and technology, in the way that I believe classic Final Fantasy really made itself known, and again, it goes together really nicely. Like, I mean, you have a lot of electricity being generated through weird crystal things, you have lifts that take you to lands vast and unknown, you have wyverns floating about and trying to attack you with their little, pathetic little, I'm gonna hit you kick. And of course they will try and do that little drill dive thing, which reminds me of the owls from the end of Sly Raccoon, actually, back when you were infiltrating Clockwork's lair in the Krakara volcano. But yeah, this is pretty much a case of just buggering around with the lifts and just making some progress, really. But again, to ensure that I don't really stumble my way through like the previous parts, I think I might as well go through some Kingdom Hearts trivia. You know, just to pad out for time, really. Again, I'm not sure if I brought it up beforehand, but again, Kingdom Hearts 1 compared to any other game, I think I might have brought this up as, like, minor bits of trivia, but yeah, I mean, besides having obvious Disney characters return, you also have a few bizarre, like, celebrity voice actors. Like, I mean, Squall Leonhard was actually voiced by David Boreanaz in this game. Again, being featured in the TV show Bones and Angel, obviously. You have Mandy Moore, who I believe was also the voice of Rapunzel in Tangled. Not that she reprised the role for Kingdom Hearts 3 or anything, but yeah, she was just voicing Aerith for one bizarre reason. And again, of course, we also brought up Christine Canova, I think her name is, as Yuffie. I don't know, it's and I guess also voicing the mysterious figure who was talking to Riku. He was voiced by none other than Billy Zane, the guy from Titanic, Going Overboard. Again, I'm not really too sure how exactly they managed to get a hold of a lot of these voice actors. I guess either Disney had a lot of faith in this game for what it was trying to do, or these actors just had nothing really going on at that point in time. But I mean, all the same, it is cool to have them there. I mean, they obviously wouldn't reprise their roles for a lot of the other games, save for, I think, James Woods, I think, because he legitimately liked voicing Hades, but yeah, that's just a bit of the voice acting trivia. Also, another interesting thing I found out, with the release of the 2002 Resident Evil remake, especially with it being GameCube exclusive, yeah, Shinji Mikami actually blamed the remake's poor sales on Kingdom Hearts' success. Which, well, I mean, I don't really know what he was expecting. Like, I mean, Kingdom Hearts was released on the PlayStation 2, which was a pretty popular console at the time. In fact, I believe one of the reasons why he even left Capcom to begin with was because they put Resident Evil 4 on PS2, and, like, that severely pissed him off or some shit. I don't really know what to say. I'll probably dive into that a little bit more when we get to, well, Resident Evil Remake at some point in the future. Anyway, one thing I could also point out with this little elevator sequence, it's legitimately like the sort of fighting game thing where you fight enemies in an elevator, like in Streets of Rage or whatever, right before you enter Mr. X's, like, palatial estate. Which is actually kind of bullshit, to be perfectly honest, but that'll say that for the Streets of Rage commentary. That being said, I also really like the skybox at this level. I know it seems like a completely fucking trivial detail, but again, the color usage and lighting for Holy Bastion is just beautiful, man, and it's very on point, like, especially with the sort of sunset hue that it has. I don't know, it just has this sort of, you're approaching the end of your journey kind of thing. Which, again, I think Kingdom Hearts 1 does incredibly well. As I mentioned, it's been a long, rough road, but we're finally here. Move an inch forward feels like a year. Don't know why I'm continuing to reference that song, but hey, whatevers. Let's see. I suppose another thing to point out was also Sora's original design, which I might post a picture of right here, where he was initially meant to be a little bit more lion-like and wield a chainsaw sword. But I suppose because it was seen as a little bit too violent for the kiddies, Disney decided to change it to a keyblade. I don't know, kinda weird that Sora was also gonna be, like, anthropomorphized to some extent. I mean, I guess this was during the design phases where Disney wasn't sure if they wanted to have, like, Mickey or Donald in the game, so that's why they were kind of battling back and forth to see exactly what they could do with it, but yeah, it's weird. But, yeah, not really too much to say there. I suppose another thing I could also bring up in terms of fantabulous trivia, in terms of summons, we've got pretty much all of them right now, I'd say. We only have one more summon left to get, but there was initially going to be a Final Fantasy summon. Because, I mean, if you're going to be noticing anything here, all the summons we've gotten so far for Sora are all Disney, but there was one Final Fantasy summon that was cut from the game. I believe the original data is actually still in the game technically, but if you try and access it, it crashes a game or just doesn't do anything. But originally the Final Fantasy summon Bahamut was going to be part of Sora's arsenal. Why it was cut, I have no idea, and I kind of wish it stayed because, well, I mean, if anything, if you should know anything about Final Fantasy, some of the summons you can use, and especially some like the GFs from Final Fantasy VIII, like, you know, Shiva or Doomtrain or whatever, they are fucking fun, dude. And you know what, I'm saddened we don't have any more Final Fantasy summons. I mean, Kingdom Hearts does make use of its Disney characters well when you have them to summon in future games, but well, I mean, I will say this, I would have much rather had Doomtrain than fucking Chicken Little or Peter Prick in Kingdom Hearts 2. I'll just say that much. I don't know, maybe we could possibly get one for a future game, or maybe one that references some other Square Enix properties, like, I don't know, The Bouncer, The World Ends With You, especially since that game is, actually, no, it's already out at this point, Neo The World Ends With You, which I actually kind of want to get, because that game looks fucking fun, dude. But alas. I suppose another thing to also point out, actually no, I'll save that for Kingdom Hearts 3 whenever I get to that later on down the way. Although, as you could probably tell by the Simba summon and the vast amount of graphical fidelity put into his summoning animation, yeah, the Lion King was initially a planned world with Kingdom Hearts 1, but instead they didn't really... I think it might have been something to do with the technology, or the fact that they just couldn't get it to work in time, but yeah, they couldn't get a lion model for Sora, and thus they saved it for Kingdom Hearts 2. So, yeah, that's a fun fact. I believe another fact I also talked about in Chain of Memories, but I might as well bring up here, because fuck it, why not? Yeah, Aya Bria from Parasite Eve was initially meant to be an Aerith's role instead of, well, Aerith. In fact, the only reason why Aerith was put in the game to begin with was because the team requested it, and thus Tetsuya Nomura, well, just said, fuck it, why not? I mean, I gotta say, I would have loved to have seen Aya in the game, but I guess Parasite Eve doesn't get enough love, because we haven't seen the franchise since Third Birthday, which may be a good thing, depending on how you look at things. Also, from what I'm reading here, apparently there are also plans to include Gargoyles, the TV series, into this game. Which I am legitimately saddened they didn't do, because that series was fucking awesome. But alas, I guess they cut it for time, or because... well, I don't really know, actually. Kingdom Hearts has always been a little bit spotty about when it comes to adapting specific things, because, like, I mean... you get stuff like Big Hero 6 and Kingdom Hearts 3, which was initially a Marvel comic book, but you won't get something like the Avengers or Star Wars or whatever into the franchise, so I don't know if there's, like, a rights issue within, like, specific subdivisions of Disney's catalog that, you know, Square Enix can't adapt, or if there's, like, creative forces involved that won't let them do specific things with what they worked on. You know, for particular license with that is the Frozen developers when they were, you know, in talks with Kingdom Hearts 3, and you will know when we talk about that years down the line, but let's just say it's a bit of an odd duck. I mean, honestly, like, considering the whole thing about darkness and... I don't know, you would have thought Gargoyles would have been a perfect fit, but... no, just, weird. That's also a weird thing about direct-to-DVD sequels. Like, I mean, Kingdom Hearts doesn't really adapt to those worlds, even though we have returning worlds like, Agrabah and Kingdom Hearts 2, which I think, like, adapts Return of Jafar, but anything else, you just don't see much of it, or it's just so inconsequential, like in the case of, like, revisiting Neverland and Birth by Sleep in a 358 over 2 days, that you just wonder, yeah, what's the deal, really? I really don't know what to make of any of this, it's just, odd. Again, I don't know if Tetsuya Nomura was ever really explicit, because I mean, something I was actually going to mention beforehand, but I might as well mention now. There were initially plans to include a Toy Story world in this game, which Tetsuya Nomura wanted to do for years, and finally got a chance to do with Kingdom Hearts 3, but why they wouldn't let him, I have no idea. It's, one of the weird facts of life, really. And this is the one well, again, to kind of cut off my tangent a little bit, yeah, this is part of the reason why scaling the tower took as long as it did, because, I didn't take Mei Ling's advice, and because I was a greedy fuck. Gotta go up the elevator, go up all the way, gotta basically reset its position. I was probably doing something wrong with this, but yeah, you gotta reset its position, you gotta go up there, you gotta do this thing again. And basically I just sort of made it harder for myself. So, whoopee for me, whoopee for you, whoopee poopy in the gloopy. Suppose another point of Kingdom Hearts trivia I can bring up is that Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII was initially going to be an optional boss fight in this game. I'm guessing she was either going to appear in Traverse Town, or as like an extra unlockable boss in the Colosseum, whether that's as her own fight or as like at the end of maybe the third tier, like right before the Hercules battle. Because I do believe we have like another battle with Cloud, I think. The keyword being I think, I'm not too sure about that. We'll see when we finally get to the segment where we do the Colosseum thing-ish. Blah.
So, I see the path has emerged at last.
Yes. The keyhole to the darkness.
Unlock it, and the Heartless will overrun this world.
What do I care? The darkness holds no power over me. Rather, I will use its power to rule all worlds.
Such confidence.
Oh. Ah! Impossible! The Princesses of Heart are all here! It must be her.
Without her heart, she will never be able to release her power.
The King's fools are here. I'll deal with them myself. You stay here and guard the princesses.
Ah, what a trustworthy young man, and I'm sure Riku's sudden burst of puberty has no ill effects at all.
I'm afraid you're too late. Any moment now, the final keyhole will be unsealed. This world will be plunged into darkness. It is unstoppable.
We'll stop it! After coming this far, there's no way we're gonna let that happen.
You poor, simple fools. You think you can defeat me? Me, the mistress of all evil!
Oh, Maleficent. The first phase of, two, really. Again, she'll pretty much jump up on this giant platform thing, she'll teleport away, she'll spin the platform around so you can't stay on it a lot, but there are ways to get around it, namely with gravity magic, which you can use to take her down to size. And as you can notice, I think it's either Susan Blakesley or like Tress MacNeille that voices her in this game, but yeah, very similar laughs to a lot of other characters in the game. Again, you can pretty much attack the platform's separate health bar to take it down, but basically just jump on the platform and wail on her, wait until she has her little teleport away, na you can't hit me phase of the fight, and then just wail on her some more. The true battle is yet to come, this is just the prelude. She does have her thralls there to distract you, but really, focus your efforts on Maleficent. She's really the main target here, and wait until she's stationary. Don't do what I did when she's in transit. There we go. Takes her down in one hit. I mean, really, Maleficent talks up a big game, but at this point in the phase, she really is nothing to worry about. But again, we do have more to worry about with Riku suddenly getting a new Keyblade, and of course, where Kairi's true heart remains. Where could it be? Well, if you've been paying attention, you probably know the answer to that already. But for those in the dark, we will save that for later. In the meantime, let's just take down this evil bitch of a fairy, of a witch. There we go, that's the ticker. so satisfying to see the laser keyblade do its work. But on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.